Living Art. Welcome to Living Art. This is KPFT, and we're happy to have you here with our hosts tonight, Michael Carson and Michael Woodson's having a little microphone trouble.
How are you doing tonight?
Not quite hearing them. And we have a special guest in the studio, Kyle Blue.
Hey.
Welcome. And big deal here. It is Fun Drive here at KPFT, and we just want to spend a couple minutes talking about how wonderful the station is, how important it is to the community, and how much we appreciate your support and having you as part of our community. And if you can call in at 713-526-5738 or go to kpft.org and press the donate button, that would be pretty amazing, and we'd really appreciate the help for our show, Living Art, and for the station itself. I know we're in the third week of Fund Drive, I think, at this point, and we really need your support. It's been a tough year with everything going on in the world and trying to keep up in terms of financially. This is a community-run station, and you make this possible, and we just really hope that you can reach out in some way, and I think Michael Woodson is with us, and welcome, Michael Woodson.
Hey.
And a couple things just to point out. If you do think about donating to the station and supporting the fund drive, there's lots of different options and merch available, and this list goes on and on. But one thing I wanted to point out, we still got a ton of concert tickets still available, and so if you could support the station in any way and possibly get some tickets to local musicians at the Continental Club, Do-Si-Do Big Barn. You have big ones, some big names like Max and Heather Stalling, Wishbone Ash. And so if you come in and you pledge, you get tickets, and you can get 2 pairs of seats, take someone out for a great date night, participate in the community, and support local art and our station. And so please think about calling in 713-526-5738 or go to kpft.org. And so how's the fund drive going? Do you have any idea, Michael?
We are just a little bit behind, and I think we're nearing $100,000 in totals, and we need, I think 150 is our goal, and we are 2/3 of the way through. So yeah, we're a little worried about it.
Yeah, the emails are getting a little panicky.
Yeah.
So
It's because people are, weary of the pitching, and you sort of reach a level where, like, it's not interesting to hear people pitch anymore, and it's not effective. Mm-hmm. And so we are counting on our listeners to be with us, right, and to persist until the very end, because KPFT is worth it, and it's such a valuable resource for our community here. This huge city of Houston, the county Harris, and the Gulf Coast, Upper Gulf Coast, right, and so much amazing things happening, and in our case, so many fine artists and poets to bring in, and so much content related to art to talk about. And if we didn't have this resource, that wouldn't be happening. So you're part of a kind of reality that's very special and important for our region. And it's a little radio experiment that started 53 years ago, and we're still going. And every year of all 53 years, I'm sure we've been doing this.
Just hanging on, right?
Just like on the skinny,
right.
And we're counting on you. We've got a couple of donors to thank from the earlier hour, from the What's Your Story? I think it's Joydy and Lucretia and Michael, and we do thank you for listening and for donating, and we're asking the same for the Living Art program, because we come to you every week bringing you topical subject related to the arts, as well as guests who are sharing their talents and their loves with the community. And without your support, this wouldn't be possible. So please dial 713-526-5738, 5265738 to make your pledge. It can come in any form. We prefer the sustainer form, which will enable us eventually, when we hit the critical mass, of doing fewer and fewer fund drives. So if you donate monthly by having a promise of having X amount of dollars, be it $10 a month or $25 a month, if you allow us to take a pledge that sustains month after month, then that's the best kind, because it's a thing that we can count on quarter after quarter throughout the year. So that's always appreciated, and a sustainer at 25 can have a thank you gift of this brick, it's called, and it's going out in the courtyard, and you can sketch your own memory in it, and it will be there into perpetuity, or until our next fund drive.
Right. Next studio. But I mean, that's amazing. We've been talking a lot about like what remembers or what lasts with art, right? And you have an opportunity to get your own memory brick right out front and become part of the community in a very real, vivid way that survives this studio, and will become part of the whole KPFT experience. And so I think that's really cool. $25 a month, right? You get a 4x8 memory brick. And if you want a little bit bigger, because you have more to say, because you can actually write what you want to say on these things, you get it's $50 a month, and that comes to $600 a year. And you get to become part of this new studio, this fantastic studio. This is like a neat space, right? Where
Did we say that yet? We're live from Caroline.
And I mean, live radio, it's amazing. You get to meet people in the community, hear from them directly, and have this kind of freewheeling, lived experience of art that's rarer and rarer nowadays. I mean, you just don't get it. Everything has become more algorithm-driven and internet-driven, and this is like a real vivid space where you can feel art happening and people thinking about it. And we just really appreciate any support you can give us. And there's so many different things besides the memory bricks. What's the Build-A-Stick? I don't really understand the Build-A-Stick.
Well, you can ask the station for the programming that you want to listen to. And we have an endless variety, an endless array of music and content that you can ask to be put on it. So we have like the Picker Poets thing, which was like a 25th anniversary concert with all these luminary musicians playing, the musicians who've passed through our studios. And I also think that has to do...
The Picker Poets of 1985, is that the one?
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty cool. Yeah.
It's an amazing collection. And also the Build-A-Stick can also be applied to Pacifica Archive. So we have like this amazing library of voices, like Naomi Klein and Molly Ivins and Noam Chomsky and Alan Watts and all of these great old voices from the 60s and 70s and 80s, and of course it spans this archive. Pacifica Radio Archives spans a good 75 years. So you're getting politics and art and music and all this talent, and you can pick programming from that as well, and we have that as a thank you gift. So that's really some amazing stuff. It's just a way to show that we appreciate your support, and it goes that way. It's like you listen to us, you appreciate it. We appreciate doing the programming, and we give our labor of love to you. And there's one more thing to give, which is money, and that's because Reliant doesn't really see it this way. They don't give in that way. They may listen, but they don't have to give electric. So that's why we need money, and we're very frugal. There's no conning, no scamming going on. It's just a community of people giving their time.
Yeah, all volunteer here.
Yeah, almost 100% volunteer. There's some people who do get paid. That we have to make sure you get your thank you gifts, for example, and those kind of core jobs of keeping the books and stuff might be something that we spend some money on. But generally speaking, everybody here, and I think everybody now who's doing the programming, is a volunteer. So it's just a great community effort, and you're part of it if you're listening. And only 1 in 13, I think, is the number that listen actually give. So, it's,
make it 2 for us. 213, please.
if there's a magical way of making that second person pick up the phone, well, send us an email. That would be the most valuable email on the planet right now for KPFT. So the number is 713-526-5738.
Yes, and just one last thing about Living Art. Like this show, we really pride ourselves on bringing members of the community in to the station and kind of reaching out, taking art seriously, and then also making clear that local art matters and providing a space for that. And so we just really appreciate your support and any funding that you can help us to kind of keep this going. And also wanted to mention the new fall fund drive with the parkas. And so if every $1,000 raised during this fall drive, one winter parka is given out to the Houston Center for Independent Living for this cold weather. And just another example of the way that this is a community-driven radio station, and we're concerned with what's happening in Houston, and that's rare, and art in Houston. And we have a local artist with us tonight. And so I think one last pitch plug, 713-526-5738, kpft.org, the donate button. Please press it and let us know that you support us and kind of keep us going because, we're hanging by a thread. So, and so, Kyle, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Good to have you here.
Great to have you here. Kyle Blue, who has an event at Rudyard's on November the 21st. So if you're by Rudyard's on that Tuesday, November 21st, stop by and see him at 7 o'clock, 7 to 10. That's sort of the event we're going to promote tonight. And he's got a lot of other stuff going. Kyle, tell us a little bit first about your life in Houston.
Yeah, I want to say since 2004 you've been here, right? Or been doing this?
No. Well, I've been. I think when I first, got on the open mic poetry stage back in 2004.
Okay, wow.
Right. And that was when I was in college, and I accidentally came across writing poetry, and I did it in the college class when the project was to present something, and I presented a poem, and I actually got enough courage to go to an actual open mic, and I think it was called Bazzano's at the time, and then I just started going as a regular, and writing, and at the time I was doing like rhyme schemes and things like that, reading off the paper, and then over the years I would develop more and became more of a free form with it, and expanded with more storytelling aspects and comical aspects and things like that.
Okay. All right. Do you mind me asking that first poem? Do you remember what it was about? Like or was it for a class that like you had to read, or you made it your own?
Yeah,
poem?
I think.
Say teachers.
It was. It was. I can't even remember. It was like in a psychology class, and
oh really?
I was supposed to present something. I don't even remember what that poem was about, actually, but I actually presented it as a poem.
In a psychology class, that's great.
In a psychology, and they were impressed with it. I can't even remember what it was, but that was the first time I actually wrote a poem and did it.
Okay.
And I just thought it would be neat to present it or whatever. And then I went to an open mic, and I believe my first poem I wrote was, I believe it was about my father going overseas to work in Iraq with Halliburton as a truck driver. He was a civilian truck driver that contract with Halliburton to drive routes over there.
He had this dangerous work. Was that what years were that?
That was I think it was like back in 2004. That was when he had to go out. The war happened, and that's when they were stationed there, and that was dangerous, work to do. But I think he just felt like he didn't have anything to lose here, because I think he was like a truck driver for most of his life, and something happened. He had lost his job here, so he went out there.
Okay.
He gave up everything and just went out there, and he was there for about 5.5 years, and he learned to really love, and he really enjoyed himself.
5.5 years. Wow.
He did.
That's a long time. And would he be able to come back from time to time? Or like, was it like consistent 5.5 years?
I think he came back like every 3 or 4 months.
Oh, okay. So there's some back and forth. All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
so he
actually
came-
there in 2006. And yeah, those people, those Halliburton guys, they did a lot of work. Yeah. And so,
Yeah, so he did it, and he got used to it. I mean, I think he wanted to stay longer, but then I guess his time was up there, and he came
gotcha.
back.
Okay.
Yeah, they got paid good money.
I have a Halliburton story.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh. Yeah, what is it?
My story is we were protesting Halliburton no bid contracts, and we were giving away free peanut butter and jelly sandwiches
Oh,
outside the Halliburton headquarters.
Why the sandwiches? Just
Well,
to the
'cause there's a
employees?
giveaway.
To the employees?
Well, it was the idea of no bid contracts because
Right,
Halliburton
right.
just got
Those are big contracts. Yeah.
open contracts to provide these war services.
Right.
So we thought we'd give away peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Okay. All right.
but that was it was an interesting time because they had so many different positions of people going over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was a truck driver. That was a dangerous thing of leaving the base, going to make routes, come back, because you're at risk of getting captured or attacked.
Yeah.
It was
IMTs.
extremely dangerous.
Yeah, that's the worst job. Yeah, and I mean, you had Halliburton guys work in the bases, but that's different. I mean, that's going back and forth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think he kind of got I don't know if it was a promotion, but it was a safer job where he didn't have to leave the base. He got more comfortable doing that, just doing
Right.
routes in the base and stuff like that.
I can see why. Yeah.
You know,
Right.
but
Yeah, it must have been scary times though, having like him distant in that way all the time.
Oh yeah, so you had to watch the locals. You know,
So was your poem about that? You were imagining what it would be like to.
I have the one man show I'm doing. I have a piece where I put myself in the place of a soldier that's captured as a POW, and how he's made an example of, and things that was going on, and being tortured and stuff like that, and acting it out.
So you do this like on stage, perform this? Oh
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's intense. But it was kind of like you hear those stories.
Abu Ghraib, you're talking about.
No, I think he's talking about soldiers being captured. Like
Yeah,
U.S.
soldiers.
soldiers are like Halliburton guys. So Garab was like the American soldiers with prisoners. Yeah.
So
and
basically, it's like so you're at the time is you can be captured and put on video and tortured and things like that. And I would kind of talk about a soldier being captured. And
From the U.S. soldier perspective, that's kind of new, right? Like the risk that the military and the
yeah,
contractors.
because that's the worst case scenario, especially with him in his position, is that just best not to get captured. If you're captured, that's it.
Yeah, there's a lot of horror stories. I mean, at the time, it was much like they traded videos of that kind of stuff, like on their internet of when they captured U.S. soldiers or Halliburton guys. Yeah, and so it was a very real thing and a scary thing, and I couldn't imagine performing that. Right now, how the audience like respond when you perform that?
It's
like,
pretty intense. They like, because I show like at one point being tortured and being blindfolded and hands tied behind your back and strapped to the chair and taken off in the vehicle.
Okay.
It's pretty intense. Yeah.
And then would the whole performance just kind of end with this, or did it move to other kind of things in there, or like was it part of a larger?
Well, no, that performance it would end with the soldier pretty much meeting his demise of being captured, but then I move on to other things, other topics.
Okay. So this is before the comedy, or was this like mixed in? Like how
It's
did the
all
comedy?
mixed in.
It was all mixed in, really. Okay, what a weird. And so you blend like this kind of tragic and like scary things with comedy. Okay,
Yeah,
that's hard to
so-
pull off. Yeah,
Well, yeah. So that piece is straight, because it starts off kind of funny, because I'm like, I'm out in the desert, it's hot. Mm-hmm. I'm taking a piss in the sand. It's hot. My piss is like evaporating when it hits the sand.
right,
And then boom, somebody puts a gun on my head and
right.
capture me and take me on. And then that's when it gets serious. Like,
Yeah, and that captures, I think, the reality in a weird, like in a way, like it's all play and games until suddenly it's not.
yeah.
which is very much
and
like
you're
the
caught
truth.
off guard.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reality of being out there or anywhere.
Yeah, no, and when tragedy strikes anywhere, that kind of moment, this just got real suddenly. Okay. Yeah, I love that idea of an art that can move back and forth between the two because most people like do one or the other, and feel safer there. I think that's awesome. You can do both.
Yeah. So I get to play around with the ideas, but that whole thing. I mean, he used to tell me stories about it. They can't trust little kids. If don't allow them to lift their arms, because if they do, it could be a bomb.
Right, yeah. I was there through 2006 and 7. Yeah, and it was difficult times in terms of what you can trust and not trust, and then also being able to create space for trust again, because it's just people when it comes down to it. It's a hard job.
Because the soldiers are in uniforms, but anybody could be the enemy. Yeah.
Right, and there's different laws applying to them too. That's a hard position. Yeah, I heard a lot of stories about that. Yeah, I'm glad he made it back, and in terms of you're able to create some art out of it. Did he appreciate your performance? Did he ever get to see one? Or?
He don't know about it. He knows how I do stuff, but he never come around. Yeah, now we saw that'll trip him out. Yeah, I don't know if it will trigger him, but
right. Yeah, maybe he doesn't want to think too much about that.
I don't know.
And so that's fascinating. So do you often do that? Like talk about like political things or world things as you talk about personal things, or do you mix the two?
I kind of do. Politics, I don't get too deep off into, because I mean, stance on politics changes through time. Somebody can have a stance here, and then it kind of slightly changes, just depending on the times. People are very sensitive to certain topics.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So you got to tread carefully.
Yeah, you're right, and it shifts, and you get caught up in the moment. Art, I think the best art can somehow go above the moment somehow, and capture multiple times.
It has to be a point to it, and it has to be it has to be a point that you get to.
Gotcha.
Like when I do things, I try to. It has to make a point. It has to be a point to it. I'm not wasting anybody's time. It has to have a meaning to it and things like that. Or, you learn some lesson, so to speak.
Okay.
So it's just like a lot of different things.
I love that. So it's important, this idea, like the wasting time, and like for art, it has some kind of moral, right? But not necessarily like whatever the politics of the moment. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. Yeah, we talk a lot about, I guess, politics on this show and how it relates to art, but I think you're 100% right about it has to have meaning, but it also can't be caught too much in it, And I'm still shocked that you were able to do those kind of performances. So you did this, and were like local places in Houston that you would perform?
Yes, okay. Yes, some local places in Houston. So the past year, I've been doing one-man shows at a Midtown Bar and Grill. It's a diner, but upstairs there's a stage area.
Okay.
And I would do small intimate performances there.
Okay.
So I've been focusing on that, and then I'll be doing my show again at the Midtown Art Center January the 13th.
January the 13th.
Yes.
Okay.
Man, how do you know from so far out?
Yeah, you were like well ahead on this. Yeah.
That's 3 months from now.
Yeah,
or week by week.
I just planned it, but it's also like the date is like significant to me, because that was like the actual date of when I did my very first one-man show back in 2012, and that was on Friday the 13th. But this time it's going to be on a Saturday, which is fitting. And but when I did one-man shows back then, it was more random topics, just different things. I was good at a lot of things. It was like I'm having a good time I'm doing all these different stories, but then after a while, I was like, well, what's the point of it? Just jumbling it all up, right? And whereas now I get to focus and refine it to say, okay, I'm gonna stick to a theme each time.
Okay.
And then it makes more sense, and I can actually tell like a more complete, meaningful story where everything I'm doing kind of goes together.
Right.
Okay. So like the show I'm gonna do in January, it's called "Give Me My Flowers," and that's a show I've done time and time again and perfected it. So I think it would be really good to present, at the theater, and it's about the ups and downs of life, and me moving forward through personal tragedy. Like my son, he passed away April of 2022, to suicide. And, to not carry that anger, resentment, or take it out on anyone, to learn from it and to move forward. When he was alive, it was like I did everything I could to make him happy I didn't know that maybe he wasn't happy, or something was bothering him. He didn't get the help or open up and
Right.
get that type of help, whatever it was, and I also had to accept that it could be mental illness as well, and I had to accept that,
Right.
So to move forward, I mean, I can tell people about, my story, my experience, especially with teenagers, because he was only 14. That sometimes we got to take the time out to ask the questions. My son he blew me off at times. Like,
Right.
you okay? Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm fine. It's always, I'm fine.
Yeah, teenager thing.
It's
Yeah.
nonchalant. I'm
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
yeah. What are you watching? What are you doing? Oh, you wouldn't understand. Yeah, well, just explain. Just
Right.
talk
Right.
to me.
No, no.
So it's like that, being involved with, being more involved with, like the teachers. What are the teachers saying? Who are his friends? Things like that. That's what you want to do. I think moving forward, like with if you're raising teenagers, just try to be involved, even if they try to push you, but still be there or be that support and get them to maybe trust you. I don't know. It's just a comfort thing. Is they got barriers that they develop. It's like, but unfortunately, like in my situation, yeah, he just, I don't know.
But don't you think
Sorry.
those barriers are partially healthy? In other words, you want them to have their own independence.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he had a lot of he had a lot of privacy to himself. But I don't know if, him having, sometimes I question like, well, what did he have access to? He was smart, so he probably had access to more than what I assumed, so he knew how to create email and maybe make an account here, make an account there, but then, I don't think I could keep up and look for whatever.
Now you're
Right,
talking
yeah,
about
the
technology.
internet age. Yeah, they can go anywhere.
So he was doing stuff. So
Yeah,
he
it's
was
scary.
So I don't know, so it's like but he had his friends, I knew my wife's nephew is like one of his close friends and stuff. So he had access to go talk to people and do things. But I don't know. It was like it's somewhat of a mystery to me. But there's some things I don't know. It's probably better I don't know to give me more.
I'm kind of putting
Peace of
it on
mind.
the social or the environment. Like this is all brand new. First of all, right? Like kids just entered the smartphone age. I'd say in 2014 is kind of the date I put it. Like every kid had a smartphone about that time, so it's not 10 years, and like we remember not having one, so it's beyond what we can understand what they actually have access to, even if you protect the phone.
Yeah, I mean you can monitor it, but sometimes they like certain things. But yeah, if they got the phone, they got a computer, then yeah, they can explore and do all kind of things.
Yeah, if they want to.
They got friends that, they do social stuff together. I'm doing this. Hey.
My son has let a few things slip, and it was just about what he was researching for class or something, in grade school or early high school, and it's inevitable that you're going to be exposed to all of reality when. I was not. Now I'm much older than you guys, but
You're sheltered.
You can Google the most basic harmless thing, and then you don't know what come up. You
Right.
can be on YouTube and Google do something, and then the next video is like something.
Yeah.
Because my mother would find those Mad magazines, and that was my, that was
Mad
my
magazine-
resources,
Mad magazine.
and it was very controllable.
Yeah, I think-
mad, yeah.
The,
It was so sarcastic back then.
it's so hard with also I think like they can act mature and have the maturity, like you're saying, making email accounts and doing these things, but also not be actually mature enough to think they can handle this stuff. Yeah, I don't know. That's a huge issue that comes up.
Yeah, because somebody can antagonize him saying something. Just I
Right.
don't know how to. Because it affects
The
your
bullying.
self-esteem is tied to it. Yeah,
Right.
So bullying Yeah, I mean, people out on the internet are it's very opinionated, very radical here and there. I mean,
Cruel.
Yeah,
and cruel.
and it
Yeah.
becomes a real life for people in
Some
scary
people
ways.
they look to pick on and say mean things. I mean, yeah, I remember one time somebody inboxed me and said something mean for no reason, just some person and even in another country.
Really.
Trying to crawl up in your stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it gives people a sense of freedom, like because they're not going to get punishment for it, and yeah, and it creates these terrible situations.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was like, whoa, just yeah.
Have you written poetry about that, or talk
Yeah,
about
I was-
some of your poetry?
I was going to say like the "Give Me Flowers" though, what you're talking about. Is that about your son, or do you mention him in?
Well, yeah, I do focus. He does become a focal point in it, and I kind of ended on a note of, if when he passed, I was, given a lot of flowers as sympathy,
Okay.
and typically that's what we do,
Right.
give flowers, and that was pretty much all that was. I was surrounded by like in my living room because I got a lot of flowers, a lot of love and sympathy from a lot of different people. It was a lot. I mean, I wouldn't say overwhelming, but it was a lot, And and I also think about like the afterlife, because sometimes I wonder, well, where did he go, right? And when people say there are stories of when you die, you're in the field of flowers,
Right.
so
Yes.
to speak, and that's what I speak on. Like, is this what heaven looks like?
Okay. Wow.
Because of surrounded by flowers. So that was just the whole thing of the whole turnaround point of, we give flowers, give my flowers, but then I was surrounded by so much flowers because flowers means a lot of good things, but the it symbolizes life, and at times we give flowers because of the loss of life. At times, so
does
commonly, in funerals, you will see flowers everywhere.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
You're listening to Living Art on KPFT 90.1 FM. KPFT Houston, it's kpft.org HD1, and as catty as this sounds, we should pitch a little bit and see if maybe some listeners would like to donate to the station, which brings you valuable and deep and insightful conversations like this. Kyle, we're talking to Kyle Blue tonight, who's got an event, I guess, on November 21st. He's going to be in Austin, actually, on the 8th here, but he'll be at Rudyard's on the 21st. And Kyle, you were like our first social media contact, because we kind of upped our game a little bit with Messiah helping us out. And I was going to ask
We're
Messiah
official on the internet.
to
Yeah.
light up
Speaking of the internet. Yeah.
light up and tell us about our social media, if I'm not putting you on the spot. And anyway, you can share why it's meaningful and why it's helpful for the station to exist, Kyle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, is Messiah, you're jumping on to tell us about our social media?
Oh, it is working. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can follow us on Facebook, Living Art Houston, and Instagram is also livingart.kpft.
And he's doing the boards tonight. And also when Renee is here. So we've got a team going, and all of this is, I think, somewhat attributable to the work that Messiah does. So thanks a lot, buddy.
Thanks. It's fun.
He's an amazing guy. So
is.
you're our first social media contact kind of
Okay.
guy, and
Yeah.
you've been on KPFT before, though. So what's
Yeah,
the value of public radio?
What's the value of public radio?
Yeah.
Places like KPFT.
It's great. I mean, I was going to ask about if y'all archive interviews still. I can definitely share that with people.
Oh yeah, it's on there for 60 days.
But but the good thing about public radio is that it's not necessarily restricted like most of the other radio formats. You have more freedom to discuss what you really want to speak about, and then you could probably get more direct feedback from people listening and things like that. So it's just you just have more freedom to do what you really love to do, like what you're passionate about. Because I know here at this station, I think there are different types of shows that you're not going to necessarily come across on other stations. Everything else is what would you say, syndicated, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah.
So, but if so this is pretty cool. I mean, because like when you listen to satellite radio, it's kind of has similar formats to this, so to speak. But at least here is you get to talk about more of what's going on in the city.
The local way.
Locally, yes. And then you can also talk about things that's going on in the world and stuff like that.
So that motivates me. I hope it motivates our listeners to dial 713-526-5738, 713-526-5738, or go to kpft.org and click on donate.
Yeah, I always one of the beautiful things for me about KPFT is it's the live radio thing is really big for me. Like you're here, you're participating, it's happening as it's happening. Like you're experiencing the conversation, the art. And I guess, Kyle, like your performances, I think about that. Like, when you do your poetry, do you change things up as like the audience interacts, or do you have kind of a thing that you follow, like when you give your performances?
I might do some things like in giving my flowers, where the audience can interact, where I would ask people, I would joke around like, yeah, so I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that. And, round of applause for teachers that deal with the kids and this and that. But for me, having experience dealing with kids, I want y'all to give me my flowers, So we give them their flowers, give me my flowers, and people kind of laugh.
Right.
And things like that, But, I mean, it does become somewhat interactive. But, I'll kind of change gears. And just my thing is just keeping the person's attention.
Gotcha.
So I kind of change gears, and this is funny, this will be serious, this will be dramatic here and there, but I'm keeping their attention, keeping them engaged, or I'm doing something that they can see,
right?
And follow, because I can be physical,
okay,
animated, and act things out and stuff like that.
So you don't get on the radio as much, the physicality. One drawback, yeah.
Yeah. So but it's a fun thing to see, and it is. Enlightening and engaging. It's a fun. I mean for it to be fun and thoughtful and inspiring, and and there's a point to it, there's a message to it. And I cover a lot of ground.
Okay. I really love how you can be like that comic and then also bring in seriousness and like go back and forth. I just think that's a really hard thing to bridge. Yeah.
I just had to say that I thought "Give Me My Flowers" had a kind of nice passive aggressivity to it.
It is, yeah. It is because it's like, yeah, I'm giving you your flowers. I'm giving y'all flowers. Now give me my flowers.
I deserve flowers.
So it's like, give me my flowers. Like,
right.
What about me? This is about me right now. Give me my flowers. Yeah. I did my time with y'all. Give me my, so.
I feel that's perfect for the kind of world we live in, right? Like, I've done my part now. Like, let's have a little reciprocity.
Because the whole kick of what I look at society is everybody's on this kick of, well, we got to give people their flowers while they're here. We got to give them their flowers, and people throwing all these thanks. And then it's like, okay, but but that person eventually wants to be, reciprocated, right? And they want it back too. But people I want to give them my flowers, but it's like, okay, and that person's going to want theirs in return eventually.
At some point, I'm here too. Yeah, it's a weird thing because, you think generous with flowers, like you're giving it, but we're not thinking of the individual. It's like, at some point, I want the flowers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that's kind of what I bring awareness to
Is that a masculine thing? Right, because it's typical, it's part of our culture where
anyone asking directly for it.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a because flowers is like a feminine.
I would never dream of getting flowers or saying, "Hey, where's my flowers this year?"
Yeah, but he's like, "Look, I'm gonna give you your flowers. Just give me mine back." It's almost like demanding it.
That's why I love it.
So you're giving the flowers and you want them back.
You got to that level.
Yeah, you gotta, and it does become masculine because it's like flowers not necessarily being a feminine thing, but like an actual like a token. Like, okay, I'm giving you this. Give it. There's like an appreciation that you want to take back.
I'm really going to get
interesting. Okay, so you like you want both at the same time. You want to give something and also hold on to it in some way. Okay.
But that's how relationships work.
It is, yeah.
You want to, reciprocate. Like, I want to give, and okay, your turn. Give it back.
Right. And give me back the same thing I gave you in the same way.
Typically, when we give flowers, the flowers go and they rest with whoever, and that's boom. But
right.
Just now, no, wait, give it back.
Gotcha. That makes complete sense.
We have one woman in the studio, and I was.
Oh yeah, I was wondering if she was going to chime in.
She needs to call us out right now, but if she doesn't want to, that's fine. But
I could turn her mic on.
she's welcome to tell us we're full of it. I think we need that.
Flowers
voice.
can be masculine too. Men need flowers as well, Renee. Okay.
We need other input.
I was just thinking of Teapot Non's meditation.
Yeah, we need to hear you. Yeah. So,
Flower fresh, and how your voice should be a flower, and how your eyes can be a flower, and meditating on being a flower, and it's just really interesting meditation.
Okay.
oh, become the flower.
Become the flower.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
when you speak to someone, your words should be the flower.
Huh. That's like your pillow thing, Michael, but this is flower. And so your voice actually becomes the flower, and like you become it, and then
When you look at things, you meditate, and your eyes are two flowers when you look at things,
right.
and you imagine you're sitting on a flower, and then
Wow. Okay. Is this what you were thinking when you said like to give me the flowers? In terms of like you want everything to be flowers, or is it just you want the flower to hold on to?
I mean,
Be in that
it's just
room?
the kind of like the metaphor. Sorry,
No, you're good. Yeah.
the metaphor of I'm gonna give y'all flowers.
Mm-hmm.
This is my token of appreciation to you.
Right.
Now I want it back because I want to be appreciated too. In a moment. I've what about me and what I've done and been through? I want y'all to recognize that too.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel it's similar what you're saying. Everything becomes flowers, right? It's not just like you're giving goodness to other people and then like sacrificing stuff yourself. It should be somehow the world becomes that in some way.
Yeah,
Like,
it becomes that. Yeah, but it's just kind of making fun of just the whole idea of just give me my appreciation.
There's a little more selfishness in this one.
Yeah,
Good selfishness.
Yeah,
though,
part of it is like a selfishness to it.
And it's okay to be selfish sometimes.
But it's also okay to give appreciation to others. That's the other thing too. It's okay to give appreciation, but then you also have to be aware that some people want their appreciation back.
Right.
People feel appreciated. Like for me, I want to feel like you appreciate it for whatever I'm dealing with or doing. And I'm just like, but I'm telling you, like, yeah, give me my flowers. Give me my appreciation.
That's fair. Who was the person that you're talking about, Renee?
Kate Hutton, he's a
Okay.
meditation teacher. I just, I don't know.
Okay,
really-
it's funny what flowers represent. It's fascinating to me. It's something that's like soft, but like to hold on to, you want to hold on to them too. And so, I don't
But
know.
yet they're so impermanent,
Yeah, they
so,
don't last. They don't last forever.
Yeah. Right, and that's like why we're so attracted to them all. Yeah, because we know they're so beautiful for such a short time, right? And it's weird how it's become a gift in situations like that.
Yeah, it's a gift that symbolizes, life and, and the flowers are, when they're given, they're pretty temporary,
Right.
Yeah, and you got to care for it, and you can prolong it, but eventually,
It's such a strange gift. Yeah, because I can't take care of flowers. Like someone gives them to me, they don't last very long. And so it is a big when you give them, it's also like work.
you're better off giving a plant.
Exactly. A rock for me, probably something like that. But I always found that fascinating because when you give flowers to people, you're giving them a lot of work too. And but they're so beautiful because they're precious, because they can be lost, I think, and it's like a reminder of that. Yeah.
when they're toxic to my cat. So
And there's that too.
so that a party was out. They were like, take the flowers home, and I was like, okay, because I was trying to be polite. But then I left him on my porch, and then when I went to meditation on Sunday, I was like, here, I'm bringing you some yin energy. And my meditation teacher is male. He's like, I have plenty of yin energy, and I'm just like, no, you're a little spicy sometimes. So, but my cat would eat these flowers and immediately vomit. So it's like I can't have them in my house. So
And it
it's
kept on
like
doing it though.
it's kind of like when I don't know. It's like it's interesting the exchange because I don't know. It's not practical, you know.
Why he would want to do that? Yeah.
But
Over and
no,
over
I
again.
mean the giving of the flowers. Like it's
Oh,
like you're
yeah.
really asking someone like, here, take these flowers. But then we do want to be appreciated. I don't know. I'm confused now. I'm confused.
I still have that stunning image of that room, though. You're just like filled with flowers, and you want that, right? And you want to make it last. And yeah, it's such a beautiful gift. But yeah, there's so much charge and symbolism in it, and work involved. Yeah, and the cats come and eat it, and that's all terrible. Yeah, it's hard.
I just wonder, like, where these flowers grow. Is that like heaven, like you were saying? Like, is it just to be, if you just walk out your door and there's like millions and millions of roses? I don't know. But then there's probably millions of bugs. I don't know.
Right. So, isn't necessarily bad, but yeah, and like, do they last forever in heaven? Is that the idea, like that heavenly space? Yeah, I think that's.
I want to hear this poem, though. Can you tell us the poem?
Well, it's not one single poem, though, right?
No,
it's a whole.
it's a variety of. It's a lot of different. It's a lot of different stuff in the show. Because when I do my show, it's like 50 minutes long.
Okay.
You know, the whole show. So it's just a variety of different stories and poems and monologue and you know some funny stand up stuff.
Do you mind sharing like one of the poems from it, possibly? Could you do that? Or a piece?
Yeah. Let me think. Okay. Yes. Let me see. So I'm thinking.
Oh, here, while you're thinking about that, let me remind everyone, remember, you guys are listening to The Living Art with our guest, Kyle Blue, and our host, Michael Carson and Michael Woodson, and I'm Messiah. Behind,
And we have Renee,
yeah.
too.
Oh,
Renee,
yeah,
too.
yeah.
I know, it's just all of us here today.
You're behind this. Yeah. What? Kyle,
Yes.
did you remember it?
But yeah, real quick plug, kpft.org. It is Fund Drive, and we really could appreciate your support. And if you could log on and sign up for any of the wonderful gift options, we would appreciate it. But Kyle is going to be sharing a poem with us. Kyle Blue.
Okay. Hey, Mama. Lately, I've been acting bad. Guilt in my heart and regret I had of not embracing you, and now I'm facing you. Have a better relationship and to stop disgracing you. New outlook on life and a new avenue. Please excuse me for the times I had an attitude, for not putting up with you when you was rude, for not being more patient, Mama. I'm a fool. Ashamed of your affection, it ain't look cool. Rejected every time, I never felt cruel. For my love, you wait. Every time I was late, you was strong, I was weak. At times I won't speak. Love like a job, you never took a break. Yet I gave you a headache to make your heart ache. I don't know where I developed this heart of hate. Overwhelmed by your love too much to appreciate. Your closest friends passed away, now you feel lonely. I'm your youngest son, but too old to hold me. I'm repay you for all things you did for me. I mean nothing phony, treat you like my best homie. I'ma make up, fulfill your empty life. Treat you just as good as my future wife. And Mom, I promise it will be nice. I cook and clean for you every week, once or twice. I bring home red box every other night, so that later in life I won't pay the price of not treating you right. Cause girls don't like to see a man not treat his own mama right. Sorry about the times that I didn't trust you. Sorry about the girls that I put above you. I promise I won't sell drugs like my brother, and I won't bring a girl home if I didn't love her. I was a kid the other day, they started drama. I took control of the situation as if I'm father. Yelling and screaming, I sound like my own mama. Then I question myself and I question karma. Kids complain about me like I used to do. Tables have turned. Now I sound just like you. We complain about our parents, things we can't stomach. It's funny when we're their age, then we become it. And as a parent, we learn to come running when our parents have been there and done it. Now I understand your rules, always enforcing me love, unconditional, always endorsing me. You did it so beautifully and so lovely. Thank you for not putting no one above me. I got a better plan cause now I understand. If I become a better son, I become a better man. Thank you.
Wow. That was amazing. Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
wow.
yeah. I mean, that was and I think that was a piece about my mother.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting. Is that part of the flowers? Is that
That's a part of the show. Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
do speak on my mother, kind of like, being at, I guess, in the teenage phase of, I know it all. Mom, chill out. Just stop nagging me. And, mom, maybe I should have been like more nice, patient with her. Things like that. I mean, she was overprotective at times, but I kind of tried to push her away at times on my own privacy, do my own thing, and then I learned like later, maybe I should have been more, patient and, she was just trying to be a good mother. She wasn't, bad or anything. I was just, wanted to just be grown almost, want to do my own thing, get out my way. I know it all. And
Yeah, I'm definitely there at that point in my life thinking about my mom that way. It's fun.
and I look back like, I should have been a little more patient, a little more nice. I know my mom has some ways about her, but I should have, been a little. And she did a lot for me. Gave me everything.
But
I
you
needed
capture
and
like the
stuff.
frustration of like because the care. It's like a teenager, like when she cares, it's too much, and you feel like it's attention.
You're like, it's like, and
But-
and I was the man in her life, so to speak, because she was single parent, so she was, and I'm her only like son growing up with her, being raised by her, so I was like a focal point. But sometimes it was, I didn't want to be like the main. I wanted her to do something else and focus on something else. I wanted to, on my own space, and learn some stuff, and yeah, it was, But I get older, and then when I become an adult, and I have kids, then it's like I can see that where they, whatever I was to her, they can become that to me,
Right.
or I could become more of what she was. Like, hey, you need to, so that's kind of the turnaround point. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, that when you realize that like you're becoming, I love that idea, and you capture that perfectly. Like,
Yeah.
and it's okay, you're okay with it suddenly, and
Yeah,
I want to
you
go back
learn,
and tell
like-
her these things, but I want to go back to my teenage self and be like, I wish I could say.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
in turn-
but I got, but I learned to be, like I said, learn to be a better son, so I got to be better,
okay, yeah,
later with her and stuff like that, and just understand, like, I need to chill out a little.
right, yeah, I went through, I feel
Yeah.
a very similar thing. I identified with that big time, that in terms of, I was the only boy with a bunch of sisters, and so my mom had that same kind of tension, Is it the same for girls growing up with their moms? Did you feel different? It's more complicated, okay. But I thought that was astonishing. I think, and I think
and
the
it's
way,
almost like in a way, giving her flowers later, like,
Right.
you're a good mom. I love you. Maybe I was a little wrong at times.
right,
Even if
just
she-
a little
even
bit,
if
just a
she-
little bit.
Even
yeah.
if she was wrong, I was still wrong.
Yeah, even that's a weird thing. You realize even if she's wrong, she was right because she like cared.
Yeah,
Like,
she
I feel-
cared.
yeah,
She cared. Yeah.
and that took a very long time for me to figure out too. So I think I love that. That was amazing. Yeah.
Oh.
So, and if I wanted to hear that live, where like I could, the next time you're doing this show is in January.
That's in January.
Yeah.
On January 13th.
Okay.
Yeah, the Midtown Arts Center.
Midtown Art Center, January 13th. Yeah, I want to go to that now after hearing that. That was amazing. Yeah.
Okay.
But more closer, you have. We didn't get a chance to talk. You have actually like a poetry competition coming up soon.
So November 21st at Rudyard's, there's what they call a bar fest. So
Okay.
basically, the organizers right about now they have that once a month where it'll be a poet that'll face off against another poet each, and they'll do like this poem versus that poem, and they'll have a judge to decide who wins the round. It's like 3 rounds for each person, and they have like similar poets, so to speak, to go against each other. So I'm doing like the comical poetry versus another comical poet. So his name is Kyle Smith.
Two
he's-
Kyles going against each
Yeah,
other.
that's what they say. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 Kyles going against each other, but he's Kyle Smith, also known as the Maniacal Menace.
Ooh,
So
okay. It
he's,
sounds a tough
Yeah,
competition
it's-
there.
No, it's gonna be fun.
That's
but
a
it's,
Yeah, you
but
need
it's,
a
it's
name.
kind
You
of like
need a name,
it's
too.
like a friendly competition
Okay.
thing. I mean, it's nothing nothing crazy.
Okay.
But
Alright.
it's fun for people to actually watch. They got good
Yeah.
crowds to come out for it.
Is it based like on the audience clapping, or is it just the judge decides?
The way they do it, they'll have I think 3 judges, and then the judge will decide, but the crowd does kind of influence. The crowd will determine pretty much. Yeah,
I don't know how you do that. I could
That
not
is
imagine
fun.
the pressure with the.
Oh,
What if the crowd
it's-
doesn't clap at all? Panic.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
And speaking of clapping,
going to.
we
That'd be
need some of
fun.
those phones out there to be in our favor and to judge us as worthy of this fine radio station. So we're going to close out.
Yes.
Kyle, thanks for coming on the show. Let me just.
Oh yeah,
we
and
got-
also I'm going to Austin next Wednesday. I'm gonna be a part of the storytelling series called Testify ATX, and it's a YouTube series, but I get to be featured as one of the storytellers, and I'll be out there, the Alamo Drafthouse Theater, out there in Austin, and it's a great experience for me to be amongst other storytellers, and we'll all tell a really cool story, and it'll be recorded, a live tape in the front of a live crowd.
Oh wow.
So that's what I'm doing next Wednesday. And I'll be in
Excellent.
Austin for that.
And they go to YouTube Testify ATX to listen or to watch that. In a
Yes,
couple
yeah.
months,
So
maybe if they can't go to Austin.
yeah, but they have other videos up now that you
Okay.
can watch. But I'll be a part of the live taping next Wednesday.
Okay.
Then they'll have my footage up, later. But that's what they're doing.
Okay,
if,
awesome.
If you value this kind of programming, you will help us out a little bit by donating. Any amount is good, $25 or $25 a month, whatever you can afford at 713-526-5738, or go to kpft.org and press donate. And this is a really valuable community resource where Kyle, got a chance to share his talents with the world, and we hope you appreciate that. And make a donation. We want to thank Eva and Trina for their donations, and hopefully we'll have other people to thank very shortly. 713-526-5738, and we have just a little bit of time. You want to inspire our listeners to donate?
Oh, no, I can't beat that. Just please, reach out. We need that help, and LivingArt really appreciates, bringing local artists to Houston or letting them be heard in Houston, and we appreciate your support and anything, just a little bit, sustaining pledge or one-time pledge, anything, to 713-526-5738, kpft.org. And thank you, Kyle, for coming on. That was awesome.
no
I really
problem.
had fun with hearing that poem live. It's thrilling when you hear poets say their work, and I'm glad you're out there doing it.
Oh yeah, it's fun. Yeah,
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
713-526-5738 or kpft.org. Really, really appreciate your support. Please donate to this valuable resource. KPFT,